One of my favorite things that happens whenever Trump is running for office and saying things, he will inevitably say something absolutely insane. And then after he says it and people report on it, all of his base says, no, you're misrepresenting him. You're slandering him. He didn't mean it. You took it out of context. And this goes round and round and round. We do the dance every single time. So Trump came out and said something at a rally he just did. And it's ugly. So I'll play it for you. Then I'll get to the full context and you'll see how it changes Dickie McGee's acts. He meant what he said. Here we go.
And getting them out will be a bloody story. Should have never been allowed to come into our country. Nobody checked them. And getting them out will be a bloody story. Should have never been allowed to come into our country. Nobody checked them.
So he's talking about his mass deportation program where he wants to deport over 10 million people. He's saying getting them out is going to be a bloody story. That's what he said. That's what he said. Okay. So needless to say, that's bad. That's bad. Right? So for example, the Cato Institute, which is a right-wing think tank, they did a study and they found that both documented immigrants and undocumented immigrants commit crime at a much lower rate compared to natural-born American citizens, right? So in other words, of the people coming across the border, 99.9% have never committed a serious crime in any way, shape, or form. Most of them are just trying to do right by their families and try to get ahead and try to make some money and live a decent life. They could be escaping political persecution or an economic situation which is disastrous. So that's a reality situation. He says it's going to be a bloody story getting them out of here. Look, if you say it's going to be a bloody story and you're also literally running on the biggest mass deportation in U.S. history, I'm going to take that at face value. This is Occam's razor all day, baby. What you're saying is, yeah, they're going to resist and then we're going to force them out. And some people, we might have to get aggressive and physical with them. And it is what it is. Should have never came to the country. Fuck off. That's his position. Now, the more honest right-wingers will listen to what I just said and they'll say, true. He's right. Kyle's right. That's what we're planning on doing. And we're not scared of it. This is our position. We're not backing down from it. That's what an honest right-winger would say. Sure, the position is wrong and barbaric and savage and dumb, but the honest right-wingers will say, yeah, he's not misrepresenting anything. That's exactly right. Okay, so here, let's scroll down a little bit. DC Drano, one of these right-wing accounts, says, wait, where's the other video? There it is. Okay, here we go. DC Drano says, he's actually referring to the violent gang members who are raping and murdering college-age women, and the gang members taking over apartment complexes in Colorado with assault rifles. Oh, you mean that fake news story about the Venezuelan gang? The thing that the police came out and said, this is actually fake news, this didn't happen. When people went to talk to the people who live in that apartment complex, they said, I don't know what you're talking about. Our problem is a slumlord who's doing a horrible job running this building. And do we have crime here? Sure. But a Venezuelan gang didn't take over an entire fucking apartment complex. What are you talking about? So he's referring to that fake news story, to be clear. It will be, quote, bloody because they will shoot at our police officers like they're doing in New York City. So this is what he says. So now, I love this. So you have the Kamala HQ Twitter account, which shows the insane things right-wingers are saying. Then the right fired back and said, here, we're going to set up the Kamala HQ Lies Twitter account. They say, this is a blatant lie. Trump was talking about the illegal immigrant gangs in Colorado who are engaging in child prostitution. Shame on you for supporting this. Okay, so here is that video. So this is now in its full context. You're going to hear what Trump said. Here we go.
Had no idea what to do or say, never apologized, never did anything. They are radicals headed up by a radical governor in Colorado that has no clue how to solve this influx of crime into his state. And by the way, Colorado is one state. It's much worse in other states. But in Colorado, they've taken over. I mean, in Colorado, they're so brazen, they're taking over sections of the state. And, getting them out will be a bloody story. Should have never been allowed to come into our country. Nobody checked them. Nobody checked. Were they criminals? Were they from jails? We have them pouring out from jails. We have the worst criminals in all of these countries. 168 so far are registered, 168 countries. They're in our country, and they said, if you come back, you will be executed. You will be killed immediately. Not going to be easy, but we'll do it. But they have no clue how to solve their influx of crime in Colorado or anywhere else. But far more importantly, heading this governor's way are numbers of bad people that nobody will ever believe. That's just a little small group of people that are taking over. These people are tough. I always say they make our criminals look like nice people. At the time it happened, people said I would win Colorado.
There you go. So they show the full context and they're like, aha, see? Everything's fine. No, as we established, the Colorado story is fake news. There is no Venezuelan gang that took over an entire apartment complex. Don't take my word for it. Take the police in the area who went and checked and said, that's just not true. That's just not true. There's not a Venezuelan gang that took over an entire apartment complex. In fact, there's a backstory about how the slumlord for this apartment building, he hired like a PR firm to come up with a narrative to deflect blame from himself, and this is what they landed on. Totally fake news story. So, when we say we're going to do a mass deportation, the biggest in U.S. history of over 10 million people, and then we bring up a fake news story to justify us doing it, and we say it's going to be a bloody job, really what we mean is we're only going to go after the criminals. Okay, that's not what he said. And as we already established, undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than natural-born American citizens. What are we talking about here? In no scenario should we even have a mass deportation. Never mind have a mass deportation and it be, quote, a bloody job. Bloody work, whatever was the exact phrase that he used. I love it. This is my favorite. They think like, when you see the longer clip, you'll agree. And then I watched the longer clip and I'm like, this is just as insane as what the shorter clip was. This is just as insane. God, man. These people have lost their damn minds. They are absolutely dangerous. They are absolutely dangerous. And then they turn around and would defend the mass deportation on the merits. Well, okay, if you're going to defend the mass deportation on the merits, you know that the over 10 million people he wants to deport, they're not all criminals. They're not all criminals. So when you say it's going to be a bloody job, you're certainly implying there's going to be people who aren't criminals who, hey, we might be aggressive against them. We might get violent against them. If they don't want to go, maybe it'll get bloody. So look, here's my advice to the right. Let me put this simple. Stand on your shit. Stand on your shit. Because like I said, some of the more honest right-wingers, if you went and talked to a Nick Fuentes stan, a Groyper, somebody who's like openly a Nazi, they look at this clip and they'd be like, yeah, Trump's talking about a bloody job to deport over 10 million immigrants. What's the problem? We're in favor of that. But instead, you got these fucking weasels who won't own their position. No, actually, when you look at the context, it kind of changes it, even though it doesn't, and Kamala HQ is lying, even though they're telling the truth. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. There was another example of this happened with Tucker Carlson was on Charlie Kirk's podcast, and he tells this story of when he was in like Iraq or Afghanistan, and there was somebody who was, one of the commanders or whatever showing him around, and some poor woman lost her legs, and the person was like, yeah, it's a beautiful sacrifice for your country. And Tucker was like, that is not a beautiful thing. And then he goes on to say, women fighting for us is disgusting. Like, it's not some liberation thing. Women fighting in the U.S. military is disgusting. And so the Kamala HQ people posted that, put it up, and then you had the Kamala HQ lies people say, aha, they're lying again. Look, obviously, Tucker's referring to the thing that's disgusting is calling the woman's sacrifice beautiful. That's the thing he said was disgusting. But if you watch it in its full context, he clearly says it's not ambiguous. It's not up in the air. He says women fighting in the U.S. military is not some liberation thing. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. The implication is I don't believe in egalitarianism. I don't think if a woman chooses in the U.S. to be a soldier, I'm not sure they should be allowed to be a soldier. That's what he's saying. Again, fucking own it. Stop this. And this is the problem. These are fake fact checks. And this is something that's been going on for a long time. Sometimes the fact checkers get it right, but sometimes they're misleading and they give wrong context or they leave things out. And in this instance, just fucking own it. Tucker's actual position is he doesn't think women should be in the military. It's not a liberation thing, he said. He thinks that this is not a good idea. And now you guys are trying to run away from it because he gets caught saying some shit he actually believes. Stop being fucking weasels. Again, a more honest right-winger would say, yeah, I don't think women should be in the military. But instead, they twist themselves into pretzels, be like, actually, what he said was okay. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm so sick of the lies. It's one thing for us to have open, honest, upfront disagreements and debate it. I'm fine with that. What I don't stand for is fucking weaselly lies where people know they're lying. They know they're not telling the truth, and that's what we're dealing with these people. Own it that Trump said it's going to be a bloody job to a mass deportation of over 10 million immigrants. Own it. Don't run away from it. This is what you want. This is what you support. Stop running away from the logical consequences of the things you say you want to do. Now, we don't have that problem on the left. I don't have that problem. Because you want to know what? I don't want to do a mass deportation of over 10 million people. innocent women and children, people just trying to do okay and get by in life. What do I want to do? I want to give people 12 weeks paid family leave and 12 weeks paid sick leave. That's what I want to do. I want to give kids free school breakfast and free school lunch. That's what I want to do. I want to go look at everything Tim Walz did in Minnesota. That's what's on my agenda. That's what I want to do. All the economic stuff he did, that's what I want to do. So we don't have anything to run away from. I'll be upfront with you. They can't do it. They can't do it because they know deep down their beliefs would be abhorrent to the majority of people. So they have to lie. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.